You ever kick open a door knowing damn well you got no business being on the other side? I did. Mesilla, New Mexico territory. Summer of '78. Hot as hell's hinges. Dust sticking to everything. I was hauling freight. Yeah. Beans. Flour. A crate of whiskey for them saloons that never close. Honest work, or so I told myself, for a man trying to keep his head down and his nose out of trouble. Then I heard the screaming. Not your everyday ruckus, mind you. Not the kind that means someone's dying quick. The kind that means someone's fighting not to be broken. Apache words, sharp and furious, coming from upstairs in that boarding house. The widow who ran the place, Mrs. Delgado. Good woman. Scared woman. She grabbed my arm. Por favor, mister. Make them stop before the marshal comes. I should have walked away. Should have loaded my wagon and rode north like I had sense. But I pushed that door open anyway. 3 miners, drunk as skunks in a saloon on payday, jawing over a girl huddled in the corner. She wasn't buck naked, had on a chemise, thin cotton that clung like a second skin in that heat, but her dress was ripped to rags on the floor. They'd stripped her like she was a horse at auction, inspecting the goods. Made my stomach turn, I tell you. And she wasn't begging. She was cornered, sure, but her eyes... Hell, she was looking for a way to that window, measuring the drop. That's when I knew she was different. I said 5 words that changed everything. She's spoken for. By me. Was it noble? Was it stupid? You tell me, partner. All I know is I meant it the second I said it. Now, if you're the kind who appreciates a man speaking plain about the hard choices we make out here in the dust and the blood, you might want to stay close. Hit that subscribe button. This story's got more turns than a canyon trail, and I promise you won't see them all coming. You want to know what happened next? I threw my trail coat at her. Told those bastards she was my wife, that I'd paid her bride price 6 months back at Fort Stanton. Pure horseshit. Every word. But I sold it hard. The big one. That scar running from his eye to his jaw like a bad lightning bolt. He laughed. A wet, ugly sound. That so? Funny, 'cause we won her fair and square in a poker game down in Las Cruces 2 days back. Then you got cheated, you son of a bitch? I spat. She's mine now. He reached for his knife. I hit him first, caught him square in the mouth, felt teeth give way under my knuckles. His friends backed up real quick when they saw me draw my Colt. Wasn't looking to kill anyone over a lie, but they didn't need to know that. Mrs. Delgado was already shoving us toward the back stairs. Go. Go now. They'll bring more men. The girl didn't even know her name yet. She grabbed my coat and wrapped it around herself. Didn't say thank you. Didn't ask questions. Just moved. That told me something about who she was. We went through that window, dropped into the alley, and I lifted her into my wagon bed. Up close, she looked young. 22, maybe 3. But those eyes had seen too much hell already. Apache, plain as day. High cheekbones, black hair all tangled and wild around her shoulders, skin baked dark from the sun, with a smudge of dirt on her cheek I hadn't noticed before. And the way she looked at me, not grateful, calculating, like she was deciding if I was worth trusting or just another kind of trouble. You speak English? I asked as we rolled out. Better than you speak Apache, she said. Her voice had edges to it. My name is Kaya. Where are you from, Kaya? Dead. My people's dead, or might as well be. She said it flat, staring at the horizon like it was nothing. Army got my father 18 months back, shot him down like a dog. Starvation took Ma on that damn march to the reservation. I ran, and some traitor snatched me up. Sold me 3 times since. This was the 3rd, yeah. I didn't know what to say to that. So I just drove, Behind us, I could hear shouting starting up. We had maybe an hour before they organized a chase. "Where are you taking me?" she asked. "North. Fort Union. Figure they got an Indian agent there. Maybe find your people." "There are no people." She leaned forward, and the coat slipped off one shoulder. The chemise underneath was torn at the neckline, showing the curve of her collarbone, the hollow of her throat. She saw me notice and didn't bother covering up. "Fort Union is a prison. They'll put me on a reservation or sell me to someone else." "Then what do you want?" She was quiet for a long time. Finally, "I want to choose. For once in my life, I want to choose." I understood that. Hell, maybe that's why I'd kicked that door open in the first place. We made camp that first night in a wash about 20 miles north. I gave Kaya my spare clothes, work pants that were too big, a shirt she had to roll the sleeves on. She changed behind the wagon, didn't even bother asking me to avert my eyes, like it mattered after all she'd been through. I turned anyway, gentleman and all that. But hell, I caught a peek in the wagon's rusty metal rim. The curve of her back, hair spilling down to her waist, made a man forget the cold for a second. She knew I looked. I knew she knew. "Apache men don't turn away," she said when she came back to the fire. "They look straight, and they ask." "I'm not Apache." "No." She sat down across from me, close enough that I could smell sage in her hair. "You're something else." We didn't talk much that night, but when I woke from my watch, I found she'd mended the tear in my shirt. The stitches were small, precise, stronger than the original seam. Second day, she started showing me what she could do. Caught sight of tracks I'd missed. 2 riders, maybe 3, keeping pace with us about a mile back. Set a snare that got us a rabbit for dinner without wasting ammunition. When I nicked my hand on a wagon splinter and it started going red with infection, she made a paste from plants I couldn't name and wrapped it in cloth. 3 days later, the wound was clean. "Mission school?" I asked. "Grandmother," she said, "before the soldiers came." The way she said it made me not ask more questions. Third night, we talked. Really talked. I told her about my wife, Sarah. God, she smelled like fresh bread on Sundays. Plague took her quick, left me wandering with a wagon and ghosts. Been hauling ever since. Beans one day, regrets the next. She told me about riding with her father, about wanting to be a warrior when the women said she should marry, about pride being what her father said would kill her someday. "Maybe it brought me to the right place instead," she said. We were sitting close by then. The fire was low, and the desert got cold at night. When our shoulders touched, neither of us moved away. "Why did you do it?" she asked. "In that room. Why did you claim me?" I thought about lying. Thought about making it sound better than it was. But you don't lie to someone who's had nothing but lies from everyone else. "Because I knew what happened if I didn't," I said. "And I'm tired of seeing things go the way they shouldn't." She looked at me for a long time. Then she kissed me. Just once, soft and brief, but it hit me harder than that miner's knife would have. "Thank you," she said, "for choosing right." Fourth day, I taught her to shoot. My Colt Peacemaker, 45 caliber. She was a natural. Steady hands, good eye, no flinch. After 6 shots, she could hit a can at 20 paces. "You ever kill anyone?" she asked, reloading. "Yes." "In the war?" "After." I didn't elaborate. Some stories you keep buried. She handed the gun back. "If they come, I won't hide." Didn't figure you would. That night, she didn't sleep on the other side of the fire. She slept next to me, her back against my chest, my arm over her waist. We didn't do anything more than that. But stranger, let me tell you, that was more intimate than half the times I'd been with a woman before. Just breathing together. Just being chosen. Fifth morning, she woke me before dawn. They're close. I heard them a minute later. Horses, 2 of them. The miners from Mesilla had found us. They came at us where the trail narrowed near the Rio Grande crossing. Smart play. Couldn't go around. Couldn't outrun them. I stepped down from the wagon, rifle in hand. Kaya stayed on the bench, but she'd put on my coat, and she had my revolver tucked in the waistband of those 2 big pants. The 2 riders stopped about 30 yards out. The one with the scar looked worse for wear, jaw swollen purple, where I'd hit him. Probably lost some teeth. His partner was younger, nervous, kept his hand near his gun, but wasn't quite ready to draw. We tried to be reasonable, Scarface said, but you had to make it difficult. Turn around, I said. This doesn't have to get ugly. We paid for her fair and square. That's a debt owed. Then Kaya stood up. She let my coat fall open, still wearing the thin chemise underneath, but now she wore it like armor, like she wanted them to see what they'd lost. I ain't no debt, she hollered, voice cutting through the wind like a knife. Ain't property neither. I choose this. Choose him. The younger one laughed. Ugly sound. Red squaw don't get to choose. I raised the rifle. She does now. You ever been in one of those moments where time stretches out? Where you can see everything that's about to happen? Feel it in your bones. That's where we were. Scarface had his hand on his gun. I had him dead to rights with the Winchester. But if I fired, the younger one might get a shot off, might hit Kaya. 10 seconds passed, like 10 years. Then Scarface looked into my eyes and saw something there. Maybe he saw I'd killed before. Maybe he saw I'd do it again. Maybe he just saw a man who decided this woman was worth dying for. Ain't worth it, he said finally. Spat in the dust. Keep your used up, squaw. They turned their horses and rode back south. I kept the rifle up until they were gone over the ridge. When I lowered it, my hands were shaking. Not from fear, from the closeness of it, from knowing I'd have done it, would have killed both of them and lived with it. Kaya climbed down from the wagon. She was shaking too. Not from fear either. From something else. Adrenaline, rage, relief, all of it mixed together. I caught her when her knees gave out, held her while she shook. She pressed her face against my chest, and I felt her tears soak through my shirt. You would have died, she whispered. For me. Wasn't planning on dying. She pulled back, looked up at me. Her eyes were wet, but her voice was steady. I choose you. Not because you saved me. Because you saw me. You saw me as a person. I kissed her then. Properly this time. Deep and hungry and full of everything we'd been holding back for 5 days. Her hands came up to my face, pulled me down harder. When we broke apart, we were both breathing like we'd run a mile. There's a camp, I said. About 2 hours north. We'll stop there. She nodded. Didn't let go of my hand all the way back to the wagon. We made camp in a box canyon with good water and shelter from the wind. I built the fire, while Kaya set up our bedrolls. When I turned around, she was standing there, in just the chemise again. The coat was folded beside her. The firelight played across her skin, turning it gold and shadow. You said I could choose, she said. This is my choice. I crossed to her slowly, gave her every chance to change her mind, but she didn't step back. She stepped forward. Are you sure? I asked. My voice came out rougher than I meant. I've never been more sure of anything, kissed her slowly this time, traced my hands down her arms, felt her shiver under my touch. She smelled like sage and smoke and something uniquely her. When I picked her up, she wrapped her legs around my waist, and I carried her to the bedroll by the fire. What happened next? Well, partner, a man's got his secrets, but it weren't just rolling in the hay. It was two busted souls patching each other up, awkward at first, then fierce, like we'd been waiting years without knowing. It was gentle and fierce by turns. It was her hands in my hair, and my name on her lips, and the way she looked at me after, like I'd given her something more precious than safety. We lay tangled together afterward, the fire burning low, her head on my chest. I could feel her heartbeat against my ribs. "What happens now?" she asked softly. "What do you want to happen?" She was quiet for a moment. Then, "Fort Union will put me on a reservation. Or worse, I've heard stories about what they do to Apache women who have no family to protect them." I'd heard those stories too, and I'd be damned if I let that happen to her. "Then we don't go to Fort Union," I said. She lifted her head. "What?" "I've got some money saved. Not much, but enough. There's land for sale near Las Cruces. Good water, good grass. We could buy a piece. Build something." "A freight man and an Apache woman?" Her voice was careful. "People won't like it." "Let them not like it from a distance." She studied my face in the firelight. "You said I was your wife. In that room. Make it true." "You mean it?" "I don't say things I don't mean." I kissed her forehead. "Then we'll find someone to marry us proper. Or we won't. Out here a promise means more than paper anyway." She smiled then. First real smile I'd seen from her. It changed her whole face, made her look young and happy and free. "Then I promise," she said, "to stand with you, to build with you, to be your partner." "And I promise," I said, "to honor your choice, always." We made love again that night, slower this time, learning each other's bodies like maps to territory we'd just claimed. And when we finally slept, it was with her in my arms and the stars wheeling overhead, and the absolute certainty that whatever came next, we'd face it together. That was 6 months ago. We bought 20 acres just outside Las Cruces. Built a cabin by the stream with our own hands. The work was hard. I won't lie about that. And yeah, some folks in town made their opinions known about a white man with an Apache wife. But more folks didn't care, or at least kept their mouths shut. And when Kaya saved the neighbor's boy from a rattlesnake bite with her medicine knowledge, well, that shut up a few more. She's poking me in the back now, saying I talk too much. Belly's swelling up nice, kicks like a mule already. Her grandma'd be proud, or so she says. When I told her I was worried about the baby coming in this rough country, she laughed and said her grandmother delivered 12 children in a teepee. Our cabin would be just fine. You asked me at the start of this story if I made the right choice. Kicking open that door in Mesilla, claiming a woman I didn't know, fighting for her, choosing her. Here's what I learned, friend. The right choice ain't always the easy one. Hell, it's almost never the easy one. But when you see someone who needs choosing, someone who's been treated like they got no value, you choose them. You stand up. You make the call. And sometimes, if you're lucky like I was, they choose you right back. The West doesn't forgive weakness, but it also doesn't forgive men who stand by while wrong things happen. I've done my share of wrong things. I won't claim otherwise. But that day in Mesilla, that was the first time in years I did something right. Kaya just put her hand on my shoulder. She wants me to tell you one more thing. She says if you've got someone in your life worth fighting for, don't wait. Don't wonder if it's the right time Or if you're ready, you fight. You choose. You stand. Because in the end, that's all any of us have got. The choices we make and the people we choose to make them with. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got a cabin to finish before winter comes, and a woman who chose me when she didn't have to. That's a debt I'll be paying off for the rest of my life, and I couldn't be happier about it. If this story meant something to you, if you understand what it is to choose right, even when it's hard, leave a like. Subscribe if you want to hear more tales from when the West was still being won. And drop a comment telling me where you're listening from.